All right, let me figure out how to mute this out. 1 second. I think it's right here. I think uh I think I did it. I think I did it. Hopefully they can hear me on Instagram. If you can hear me on Instagram, can you let me know? Can you hear me? I think I did it right. Let's see. Carol Jackson, can you hear us on Instagram? I want to make sure that they can on Instagram. They can hear me. How awesome is this? I figured it out. All right, so we are live on all platforms, and this tab is using your camera and your microphone. Okay, awesome. We just want to fabulous. Don't go anywhere, and y'all might want to hear. Here's what I need you to do. I need you to tag 5 people and comment done. All right. How cool is that? We are actually live on all streaming platforms now. Good evening. As we are live on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. How cool is that? So glad that you all can hear us on Instagram. And we have amazing testimonies. We're actually waiting on our other guest to get on the line. There she is. We were waiting on our other guest to get on the line, and I have 2 amazing ladies that we are going to be interviewing this evening. And I don't want to make light of what these 2 ladies have been through. They've gone through some very, very traumatic events over the last year. One of them in June of 2023, and the other in December of 2022, which ended the end of December of 2022. And one of them have just crossed over the 1 year anniversary, and these 2 ladies are dealing with grief. Okay, and so we want you all to share this live, share this because we know that there's someone that may need to hear what we're saying. We are here tonight to celebrate life, and we're here tonight because these 2 young ladies chose to find healing in healthy distractions, right? In healthy distractions. And so we're going to bring up to our screen our 2 guests. We've got Tara Bolden out of South Carolina, and we actually have Sally Isaac also out of South Carolina. How are you ladies doing?
Doing wonderful.
I'm doing great. I'm doing great.
Awesome.
Can you
Awesome.
hear
I'm
me?
so glad
Yeah.
you here with us both. And just make sure you mute out your phones so that if you get any calls or anything like that, you want to make sure if you're on a device on your phone, put on the do not disturb, because if you don't put on your do not disturb, it'll mess your live up. Like you may get knocked off. We're actually live on YouTube as well. And how cool is that I figured it out. I figured out how to mute out YouTube so that there wasn't a feedback going. And you know what I learned in 2023, all of 2023 for me was a plowing season. And I really, really had to learn how to use new skill sets, So, Tara, we'll start with you. Would you like to let everybody know who you are, where you're from, what do you do?
Oh yes, I am Tara Bolden. I'm not next. I'm now. I just been saying that. Yes, I'm not next. I am now. But I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina originally, but I live in Clover, South Carolina, which is not too far from there. I am a mother of 4 and a wife to 1, and well, really 7. I have 7 in all because I have a blended family, and we lost one, so we're down to 6. But I am doing network marketing. I sell the drink to shrink, and I sell the candy. I sell, like we learned tonight in sales training, everything. The Epic products, the what is it? The nootropics that's in my Elevate. I sell that because that's something that I do use. Yes. Oh, okay, I put in there. I use this, and it helps with clarity. It helps with my moods. It helps with keeping me focused. So that's what I do.
That is so awesome. So, we'll introduce Sally. We'll bring you up as well and let you tell everybody who you are, what you do, what a little bit of your background, is, where you're from. And I don't know why I always say Tara, and it's Tara, and I know it's Tara, right? I think all of my girlfriends in high school, they were Taras. And so that's probably why I have such a hard time
Just
remembering it's Tara. But
everybody.
we all call you Tara, and it's Tara. Are we gonna stop that tonight? Is we gonna get it right tonight? It's Tara. All right, you guys. And so now we've got Mrs. Sally Isaac, and we're gonna bring you up. Go ahead and unmute yourself and kind of tell everybody who you are, where you're from, what you do.
Okay. Hey, everyone. I am Sally Isaac out of Sumter, South Carolina. We are a blended family. We had 5 kids. Now we have 4. The age ranging from 19 down to 3. I am a former paralegal. I've been retired now for 3 years. I have been in the health and wellness industry for the past 3 years, working there full time, showing people how I am gracefully grieving along with God and our green capsule, like Tara said earlier, that I elevate. It has the nootropics in it that is helping me put the smile on my face, helping me be in a good mood, which y'all can see right now. And with the community of our business, it is really helping us to be more present and not to just sit in our grief, but to have a healthy distraction so that y'all can see what it is that we do.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you so much. And I've known you for all of those years that you've been retired, actually a little longer than 3 years now, but we've been working closely together for, I think it's been 4 years now. We're going into 4 years. Yeah, it's been this will be 4 years now.
Right.
And with Tara, we actually just became business associates back in September. I think it was
September. Hmm.
September. And I don't know where we were when I found out that you had recently lost your son. I actually couldn't believe it. So I don't know which one of you want to go first. I don't know how much of your story you are open to share this evening, but whichever one of you decide that you want to go first to share your story, go ahead. Sally, go ahead.
Okay. So, where can I start? Okay, so like I'm gonna say like most moms with teenagers, we have our ups and downs with our teenagers, we're on them and everything like that. So I'm gonna say a year and a half leading up to, we've been having a lot of issues with my son. He was sneaking out of the house, stuff like that. And then fast forward to my birthday, October 29th, 2022, he got in trouble for the first time with the law. And I had no idea. It's like, your child is doing something, but you don't know exactly what they're doing. So
Mhm.
he ended up going to jail for the first time. And we let him sit because we like, okay, this is your first time going to jail. We're going to let you sit. We're going to teach you a lesson. So we let him sit there for a whole week. He was calling every day, please, please, please get us out, get me out, get me out. I done learned my lesson. I want to get out. I want to get out. I want to get out. Okay. We got him out in December. Next thing I know, like he was good for like 2 weeks. Next thing you know, he started sneaking out the house again. Then he turned 18 on December 21st, 2022. Everything was going good. We went to church because even though he was sneaking out the house, he was still going to church every single day. So he know church, he know what to do, he know right from wrong and all that. And then come December 28th, 2022, it was a normal day. They were home from Christmas break, and we was in the house and he was washing dishes. I was actually on a training with the business at the time, and we hear a knock at the door. And when that knock at the door came, he was like, Ma, who that is at the door? And I'm like, I don't know. So, we got 2 other kids that was in the house because we got 2 daughters that we're a blended family, that they weren't here. So the youngest ones were here, and at the time they were 5 and 2. So I think my daughter, she was in the restroom, and then the 2-year-old followed me to the door. So when I saw them, I was like, okay, they're at the wrong house, because normally whenever they come to our house, they're looking for a different house. So I'm like, oh, they're at the wrong house. So when they said my son's name, when I asked them who it was for, and I'm like, hold up, what? Because I'm like, I know he just got in trouble a month ago, and we just get him out. We all back at my house for it. And it's like, as soon as, like, it happened so fast, it's like he washing dishes. I kind of see him out my peripheral. When I'm talking to the officer, I saw him walk by out my peripheral while I'm talking to the officer. And as soon as I asked the officer, why are y'all here? One of the officers outside said, was that a gunshot? I said, hold up, we hold up. What? And I took off running. And by the time I got to his room, like, I just saw his lifeless body, like, on the ground. Like, I had no idea what to do. So I ran out of the house. I'm home with the little kids. I'm calling. I had to call his dad. Like, I'm the one who had to do all the calling. I had to call my mom. I had to call my husband, because my husband had left home at the time. But in the midst of all of this, the only thing I could do was call on Jesus, because it's like, I can't even explain the feeling. It's like you kind of living in a fog, not really understanding, trying to understand, and asking God, but not really asking God. Like, I asked the question, but it seemed like every time I try to ask why, God come back and be like, it happened to me. And I'm like, I bust out laughing, because he's right. Like, how can I be mad? How can I have all this anger in me when God went through this too? So that was another thing that how I'm getting through it. And then I think God gave me 18 years. God let me get him to 18. So I take comfort in that as well. And one of the biggest things I feel like that really helped me too was fasting and praying. I started fasting and praying and understanding the power of fasting back in October 2021. So all of that, with me learning more about God and getting closer to God with that, and then all of this happening, and then God came, because it's like, when this happened, y'all, when you consistent with your business, because like I talked about before, the community, when this happened the next morning, I got up and got on Power Hour, because I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Like, so I'm up, because we didn't stay home that night. We stayed at the hotel, and I got up and got on Power Hour, because I didn't know what else to do. And then I forever got up at 5 o'clock, because I used to have my time. Then I would have Power Hour, and then the kids would get up. So I still got up and had my Jesus time. And one morning during my Jesus time, God told me to forgive. And when I say y'all, forgiving is one of the hardest things. Like, that was one of the hardest things. To me, it felt like when I forgave, it was like losing him all over again. Because it's like I had to forgive myself, because I blame myself, because I felt like maybe I didn't do enough, or stuff like that. Even though I know I don't reached out to this person, and I reached out to the school, I reached out to the community, because my son was a basketball star. I reached out to his AAU coaches. We took him to military school. Like, we took him to the military. But the thing is, it had to be voluntary. If he said no, then they wasn't going to accept him into the program. And he said no, and that was like 6 months before this happened. He told them no, and they was like, the only way he could come back is if he was to call us and tell us that he wants to come. Wow. So I had to forgive myself for that. And then it's like issues and stuff we had with his dad and, his girlfriend. I had to forgive all of them. And it's like, that was so hard for me. But with forgiving them, with forgiving myself, I even had to forgive my son, because I felt like he left me. And I was like, how you just going to leave me? Like, it was me and you, for like my twin, like, you left me. So I had to forgive him as well, and really understand that he was a child. Even though his age was 18, he still had a child mindset. So once I forgave, And we came into this business and I learned about the elevate. The elevate really, I don't know, it changed my life because I don't think y'all
Yeah.
understand. The the elevate is my best friend for real. Like it's like when I take it, I can just feel immediately it start working. Like it's a feeling that come over me, and all immediately I get happy. Like immediately in the morning when I get up, like that's the first thing I do. I take my elevate, and then I
Mm.
must say my business partners, you hear me? The community of my business partners, because they knew the things that was going on. They knew some of the stuff that was going on with me and my son and my husband. And like they told me to come to Atlanta for a weekend. And I came to Atlanta for a weekend, and it's like it's like they wrapped their arms around me, and that community helped hold me up while I was going through this process. I mean, they gave me my time to grieve or whatever. And, as I still go through grief and I'm still learning, still understanding, trying, working on stepping into my purpose. But the community, I'm going to say God, the community of my friends, the community of my business partners, and this elevate is why y'all can see me sitting here right now, able to talk to y'all and not cry whenever I'm talking. I mean, I do have my moments. I will say that the
Right.
elevate, I do have my moments, but I don't stay in those moments because staying
Mm.
in those moments, like there's no way I can stay in this moment and still be a wife, still be a mom to our other kids. I'm a grandma now, y'all. Like our oldest daughter, the baby was supposed to come January, and she ended up coming the day after my son's birthday. Actually, she was supposed to come January 13th. She ended up coming December 22nd. So I'm like, there's no way I can sit here and wallow in my grief, and I still got a whole life to live. Like
Right.
people always talking about my strength, and I'm like, I have no credit for that. Like absolutely none, none. It's all God. It's all God. So whenever you see me, just know that God got me wrapped in His arms. I tell people what helped me get through is listening to Tamala Man, "Safety in His Arms," because I listen to
Mm.
that on repeat, and that's
Mm.
and that's how I feel that God got me.
I have a question, and I don't know, and then we'll bring Tara up to tell her story because there's a real question I got for both of you. But because I knew, Paul and I know what was going on with your son, and how it was affecting your marriage, because the strife that you were having with your son
Right.
was was affecting your marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Um and you were praying for your marriage.
Right. Um. Like it was terrible. Like when I tell you, it was horrible. Like they got into fights. Like it was something serious. But even though that happened, like you know how you pray, like how we do a dream board. The beginning of 2022, I had things like I asked God for a complete turnaround for my son, not thinking that God was going to take him. And I asked Him to restore my marriage. That was 2022. No,
I remember.
2021. Hold up.
One.
Let me think.
Yeah, 2021.
2021. Yeah, 2021. That was my prayer for 2021. Then, my son took his life the end of 2022. And then my cousin, I saw that they passed. I think she tagged me. I think their pastor tagged me into like a couples thing. And I was like, I told Antoine, I was like, I want to go. So then one day out of the blue, my cousin was like, I got 2 tickets if you want to come. No, like Antoine, she got 2 tickets. And like this is like in the middle of grief. So we went and we listened, and in the middle of that, it's like God told me I had to do it. It's like He said He had, like, in that moment, on that day in February 2023, God restored my marriage at that couples retreat. He told me, He said He had to take my son because He had to take my son in order to restore our marriage. And I just broke down and cried because I know that sometimes, it's stuff that's hindering us, and sometimes we can't walk into it because it's stuff that hinder. And it just so happened that my son consistently took my focus off of God. And I know sometimes people can't understand that, but I know because of the relationship that I got with God, and God consistently tells me and shows me things that he had to take my son so that I can give him all the glory. You get it? So it's, I know some people like, what you mean? Like, they will be mad at God, but there's no way I could be mad. Like, how can I be mad at God? Because he answered my prayer. It might not be the way I wanted him to, but he answered my prayer because it's not my will, it's his will.
Wow, that's amazing. It's amazing that even going through what you're going through, and you're going through it, that's what I think people need to remember when because I'm going through some things right now. Right. You are going through them. What I admire about the both of you, which is why I wanted to interview the both of you together, is I just admire your tenacity. Like, I admire the strength that you exude, but I also admire the fact that you never take any glory for it. You always say that only God could keep me because, and elevate. See, God put it in man's hands to create this elevate because the nootropics that's in this capsule, and I know the both of you speak very highly about this. I use the sachet form of it because I mix it with my B-cardio. So if somebody's saying, well, I don't like pills, okay, we got another solution for you, right? She's telling you she leaned on the Lord, and she does not go a day without her elevate. So you guys light the chat up and give Sally some love. It's not easy. I've never lost a child. I can't even imagine. I've lost lots of loved ones, but I know that there's a different feeling that comes from losing a child that you just don't ever feel like that child is ever supposed to go before you, right? We're supposed to go first, not the kids. And so thank you so much for all that you show us. I don't even think you realize how your strength is blessing other people. So come on, Tara.
Okay, Sally, you moved me with your real life testimony because it's similar to mine's, but yeah, it's the same way, the same exact way. My son was getting in trouble. He had actually got suspended from school. First, this is what they did. He got in trouble in the classroom, and then he's so strong. He was 6'4". He was 6'4", 215 pounds. So when they came to get him, they was like, what we gonna do? So it took the football coach, the administrators to get a hold of him. He really was afraid of them more than he wanted to hurt them, but because they seen how big he was, they wrestled him to the ground. So he had got put out of school. So when he got put out of school, he went into an alternative school. My son was 15 at that time. He turned 16, during that time. But he was trying to do better. So when he went to the alternative school, it actually helped him because it was a smaller setting and it was a virtual school. And he just needed that smaller setting. In fact, his principal from the school came and spoke at his funeral. He was like, Yanni was a good student and he loved having Yanni at his school. But Yanni was just, me and him, we would go head to head because he would always think that he my daddy. He would tell me, oh, you need to be getting back to Drink to Shrink. This is before I even got in Drink to Shrink. He was like, you weren't consistent enough. You didn't do it long enough. And I was like, who you talk to? He said, then when you go exercise, you don't lift weights. You don't lift heavy enough. Like he thought he was my daddy. You gonna get on that camera and make that video and you ain't even got no energy. The people want to see energy. And I was like, you're right. Wow. Okay, let me do the energy. See, most people would have thought that was aggressive, but I took everything he did and I bottled it up and I ate it. And that was just a relationship that we had. And everybody loved my son. Like, he was a lovable person, but he had his ways of doing things because he was so independent. He wanted to drive, so he decided he was going to drive. He done took a car and bust the tires on the car, but he ended up with his friends getting the car fixed, fixing the tires. And I was like, he would always try to fix up his mess, but he kept getting into messes. So we moved from Charlotte, North Carolina to Clover, South Carolina. And I never really wanted to live in South Carolina because I mean, I know we may have people that's of a different color, but I was always afraid of the racism. In Charlotte, we didn't deal with racism like that. And I was like, if I go to South Carolina, I have a black son. I was really, really worried about him. And so lo and behold, he gravitate and all of his friends are white. So now he's doing things that normal, black kids didn't get to do. And so they're jumping off the bridge at the lake where it says do not. It says no trespassing. First of all, we checked the cameras. He left at 3:00. I was at the Audi dealer getting my oil change. He never called me and asked permission to even leave the house. So he left the house without my permission. And he went out there with his friends because I find out that the boy got fired and my son was going with him to comfort him because he just got fired because that was the type of heart he had. So he was looking out for his friend, and his friend was shorter than him. And my son told him he didn't really know how to swim because we tried to help him to get to swimming, but he would never really learn. So from the story that they tell me is that he jumped over the railing into the water. And he said the other guy said he jumped in after him, but he was too heavy to pull up because my son jumped in with his jeans on and all his clothes. And so first of all, I could be mad. I could, because why would my son jump in with all his clothes on? Are you telling me the truth? My son told you he was a little afraid to even be jumping into the water. So I have no knowings whether or not he did it his own self or did somebody else do something. But God was like, Tara, don't you worry about that. I got him. And so he also said the same thing to me. You need to walk in forgiveness. A matter of fact, the week before my son passed, I ended up preaching a funeral, and I was preaching out of Psalms 23. And God was like, after I preached, people felt better. People were lifted up. And the service was great. And God was like, well, you're going to have to eat those words. So I had already got a prophetic word. Yes, I got a prophetic word the week before. Then I got another prophetic word on that Monday because I had left the hospital and I was visiting a family member and they were sick. So I was hearing death and I was like, oh no, they're going to die. I never inquired of God and said, God, who are you talking about is going to die? Or, I never inquired of him. Why did you say that I'm going to have to eat these words? And I was like, God, so God was giving, and you may have seen signs in things that, that like that. Now I really can see with hindsight and insight. And so it was a lot of things that I seen that I felt like I used to beat myself up about this. Really, it was recently, it was in June 23rd, 2023. So it's still new to me. And so I would say to myself, like, what could I have done differently? Could I have been at home? But at the auto dealership, it only takes an hour normally to get my oil change. It took 3 hours. It was like I couldn't get straight. Yes, it was like everything was working against me in timing to get back home because I missed my son by 30 minutes. And so, when I looked on the camera told everything. So I missed him by 30 minutes. And when I got to the lake where he was, it was like police out there. There were water crews but they didn't tell me that they couldn't find him. They said, oh, he might be in the woods. So they were already not telling me the truth. So I started praying, thinking that my son was in the woods. But I'm like, why is these water vehicles out here? So they didn't tell me until they found him that he was in the water. And so I had to deal with that with the police, deal with not knowing the true story or the full story. But, once it happened, yes, I never got mad at God. I just asked God to help me. And I started speaking his word, standing on his word, crying, falling out, speaking his word. And that was what kept me. The word kept me. And then I was like, what am I going to do? And then his words kept coming to my mind. Mom, go back to drink to shrink. But when I was in drink to shrink, the first time that I was in drink to shrink, I didn't even try these pills. I never tried the Elevate. I only did the Drink to Shrink. And so I feel like he didn't know, but he was pushing me towards something that could actually help me. And because I believe in healing. And so I speak and I know that I'm healed, I'm delivered, I'm set free. But these pills actually aided in what I needed. And it gave the clarity, it gave me the happiness, it gave me the joy, but I already had it from what I was speaking, but it was like an added bonus. So anybody that's a parent that has lost a child, even if you're not even a parent and you may have lost your mom, your dad, you lost someone, these actually help you. They help you because depression is a whole food. Depression tried to come on me, and when depression comes on you, it feels like a weight on you, and every step you take is a heavy step. And I was like, God, what is this? Because I had never been through depression. He said, Tara, this is depression. And I was like, well, I got a choice whether or not to do this, right? Yes. So I started speaking, and then I started taking these, and it helped. Most people, Black people, we don't think to get help. We won't go and get counseling. We don't think that there's anything else out there to help us because we don't want to look crazy. But you need to get the help. Nothing you do to help yourself is going to make you look crazy. Is when you don't try to help yourself. So, yes.
Wow, that's powerful. That's powerful. Everybody's saying thank you so much, Tara and Sally, for just even sharing your story. I have a question for the two of you, and I mean I'm very familiar with both the stories. We've talked about it um in depth, both of you ladies. But how did you make it okay to not feel bad about smiling again and living again? And because I can only imagine that the like I've been around people and watched them just want to be sad. But how did you come to the frame of mind to even make it okay to smile again, to laugh again? Because I hear a lot of people, parents that have lost children, say things like, um, they feel guilty about being happy again, or how did you move through that, or how are you moving through that?
In the beginning, I did feel like that. I did because like my friend, they would come get the two younger ones, and then they were like, go do something for yourself. I'm like, what you mean? Like, what do you want me to do? Like, I don't know what y'all want me to do. Like my son going, what I'm supposed to do. So one day I think I went and I went to go to Hobby Lobby and I sat in the parking lot and cried. And I think I did a reel, and I talked about it in that moment. Like, how do y'all want me to go and move forward and smile, live life? Because I felt like I was leaving him behind. And then I remember my son always said, Mom, you don't do nothing. Because right before this happened, I was just getting over postpartum from the 3-year-old. So it's like this happened, and then I felt myself slipping back into that depression again. And so like I say in January, that's when me and my friends, when this happened, like some of the guys in my class, they started a mentoring thing for boys. And then my friend was like, y'all know what? Life is short. We're going to start hanging out together again. And that's when I remembered my son said, Mom, you always in the house. You need to get out and go be with your friends. And I was like, okay. So I started being intentional with getting out the house and going and hanging with my friends. And then that helped me. That made me feel like I'm doing something that he would want me to do. So that how I was able to smile again and start having fun without feeling like, oh my goodness, like how am I gonna? And then not even like worrying about other people's feelings is something like I can't. It's like because my patience kind of got short. I don't know. with going through this, it's like I don't have patience for stuff like that no more. So whenever somebody coming to me negative, and I'm not even really a negative person, I'm used to smiling all the time. I'm used to having fun all the time. So if somebody coming to me and they got a problem with it, I can't. It's like I got to distance myself away from that because that's just not who I am, and I know what my son wanted me to do. So that's how I got. That's how I am. That's why I'm smiling.
Wow. Good stuff. Tara.
Yes, with the smiling part, I had to, like she said, go through forgiveness, forgiving myself, and then forgiving him because I still have to do it daily. I'm like, why would you do this? Why would you leave? Why would you go with them? But you know what? I did a TikTok video and it was viral. The people was doing, talking about, it was like a sound going by, and it was like the kids had stole the car. I said, I'm gonna tell my children about the Job situation. So I was like, Lord, did I speak it on them? I said, God, I didn't mean to, but I had to forgive myself and forgive him and forgive anybody that, that was associated with the situation, because that's somebody's children. And if they had anything to do with it that was wrong, God would deal with them. It would eat them up. And to smile, like, I'm not going to say I don't know nobody's situation to where I can tell them what to do, but moving forward does help. And you don't forget them. You never are going to forget them, because when you wake up in the morning, they're on your mind. When you go to bed, they're on your mind. Anytime you see something, a holiday comes, they're there. It's like a loud silence. I mean, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's a loud, it's silent, but it's
Right.
loud.
It's loud.
And
Right.
so you always hear it, but you just keep remembering those things. And I think releasing, make sure you constantly releasing and not holding on to those feelings as well.
I've been around. I'm around a lot of people. I've been around trauma through grief and death. Like I said, not that I've lost a child of my own. I've had miscarriages, but that's nothing to compare to physically raising a child and then they're gone for whatever the circumstance may be. But I hear people that have opinions about people who are not falling apart. It's almost like people on the outside want you to still be like grieving, and they don't understand when you choose to grieve graciously versus sitting around moping around, because they'll say stuff like, I can't even believe they going out again. And I mean, like, what does that mean? Like, what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to sit around? What does that look like? So I applaud you both. Tara, yours is super fresh. We're not even barely 6 months in. It'll be 6 months for you, or no, it is 6 months going into 7 months for you. And Sally, you're right past a year now. I applaud you both for not listening to what the world says, like that you're supposed to grieve a certain kind of way. I remember my brother preaching one time in service, and he freed me up, because I view death a lot different. Than I'm not one of those fall apart people. I've never been that way. I miss the people that I've lost, but I've never fallen apart. And my brother he preached one day. He said, why do you have to fall? Like, why do you have to fall in the casket and scream and faint and fall out all out? And why? Because somebody told you got to do that? Why? Because somebody exhibited that before you, and now because you've seen that as behavior, you think that that's what you're supposed to do? And I was like, finally somebody's speaking some truth around these parts, because I don't understand, why does it have to be that way? And it's only because that's what people have seen, that's what people do. But why can't you grieve graciously? Why can't you forgive and move forward? Right? You're never going to forget, but you still move forward. Because the thing that I always wonder is, like, I had my aunt passed away. And on the day that she passed away, my cousin called me, because she was right around the corner from the house that we were living in Ardmore, Pennsylvania. She went to church around the corner. So they called me because they knew I was the person that could get to her the fastest. Right? So I went to go get her. I was packed, like suitcases packed. because I was getting ready to get on the road to go down to DC and Maryland to do some events for the weekend. And people were like, you still gonna go to your trip? And you just lost your aunt? And I said, I sure am. Because I'm trying to figure out, me sitting at home, what was that gonna do? So we sit around at the house and and eat eat all day long for a week until the funeral. What was I going to do? What? I was there for the funeral. When I came back, I went to the funeral, but I just don't understand, what does that mean if you don't show up every day to sit there and eat? Like, I just don't understand that. I don't understand why, especially in the African American culture, we think that it's got to be this long, prolonged thing, because you won't let that. You know what? Most people hold on to the grief because they think that if they hold on to the grief, it makes it like the person hasn't gone. So it's like, if I can just hold on to this grief, and I don't want to let this grief go, then I don't have to really face the reality that I have to figure out how to life without that person. And that's all that it means. But you ladies have your own seed. See, and I can imagine when somebody loses a spouse, when they lose a parent, but somebody you birthed, there's a whole different level of, right? That's a whole different level. So the fact that you've chosen to move forward, you do have the assistance of your community. You have your nootropics. Can you talk a little bit about this nootropics? Because I've heard you ladies, I take mine for a whole different reason, right? But what is this nootropic that you keep talking about in this product? What can you guys tell us what it is? What does it do? Why is this so important for people to know about this nootropics? Elevate. Who wants to tackle that one? Tyra?
I will. I mean, the nootropics do a lot. Not only do it help with us, we're using it for like our mental clarity and focus, but it helps with anxiety. Different people go through different things when they're going through. We're talking about grieving. Grieving do bring on a lot of different type of feelings that you don't even know that you have. It may cause you to be angry, it may cause you to be distant, it may cause you to not even be able to get out of the bed. So depending on what it is that you're dealing with, nootropics is something that the doctors and the scientists have come together, and they're actually using it so that you can be able to push through those things. You can actually get some happiness in you, some calmness in you, be able to get up and move and do what you couldn't do on your own. And it's not even a crutch, because let me tell you, after you're able to keep pushing and going through, you still may be going through grief, or however you may word it. I don't even try to word it as grief, because I don't want the depression. I don't want the grief that comes with it. I love my son, so no, I didn't have to act up. I cried at the funeral, but I didn't have to jump in the casket, because I understood that I did right by my son. Even I could have did better. I mean, I was a young mother when I had him, so I still did. I took him to church, got him baptized, tried to instill God in him. So, these nootropics was something that would just help with, it even helped with addiction. So if you're dealing with an addiction, because some people end up drinking, smoking, they go into different types of things. Is to calm you, is to help you to think clearly. Sometimes we're just not thinking clearly. Some people like me, we're blessed to be married. Some people had to go through this alone. So if you're going through this alone, that's another thing that you have to deal with. So there's a lot of oppression that comes on you as well. And so if you're using your word, of course, speaking against these things, but having an aid, that aid really does help. Like my husband would ask me, how do you feel today? Because one of the officers at the scene told him, some days you're going to have to be 100, because she might say she is 0. And he started doing it. He said, are you at a 40? Where are you at? I'd be like, if I'm at a 40, he's at a 60. So he always made sure that he was my 100. That's pretty much what it is. We always equaled up to 100. And that helped out a lot. So having a partner, I couldn't imagine going through this by myself. I could not imagine it. But having a partner also helped me keep going. And then my other children, my mom and my aunts and them, they was like, you got to live for these other children that you have. And then my husband was like, Tara, don't go backwards, go forward. So nootropics, they help you go forward. How about that? The
I like it.
nootropics help you move forward when you can't move forward on your own.
Wow, that's powerful. Sally, what do you is that you have any other chime in about this nootropic thing that that we're talking so heavily about?
I don't know. Tara has said so much good things. When I look up the definition, it says it's called a smart drug. It's
Oh,
a diverse group of medicinal substances whose action improve human thinking, learning, and memory, especially in cases where these functions are impaired. So
but they're
sometimes
all
they do
natural.
be impaired. Right. Ours is all natural. It's not done.
Hello.
Let's be
Right.
clear. Our products are all natural. That's another reason why we love them so much. But I wanted to say something about when you was talking about the grief part, because my family really expected me to fall apart because that's what I'd done in the past. Like when my grandma passed away, when my uncle passed away, my aunt, who me and her had the same birthday, of that, I lost my dad at the age of 4. So they expected me to do that. So not seeing me act the way that I used to, they wasn't used to that. And they would call me, "How you feel?" I'm all right. They're like, "No, you're not." And I'm like, "Yes, I am. Right now in this moment, I promise I'm okay in this moment." They be like, "No, it ain't, because I'm not okay. So I know you're not okay." And I'm like, "But for real, I am okay." Like for real. Like, and then I even had to go live and tell people, "Can you stop putting how you feel on me? Because that's not how I'm feeling."
Mm,
Like I had to set a lot of boundaries. So that helped too. Setting boundaries and letting people know, just because you went through that don't have to be my story. I'm like, I speak life, and that ain't part of my life. Mm-mm. But these
wow.
nootropics in this green capsule is helping us. We don't make no medical claims. We're telling you our testimony that it's going to help with anxiety. It helps with depression. And it helps like the mental focus. Like I started opening the capsule. I don't know, lately I had the
Right.
feeling I just start opening the capsule and pouring it in my mouth. That way I do like the drink, or you putting applesauce. Oh, I just pour it in my mouth and just drink it with water, because I feel like it's activated by water. Because I tried it with something else behind it, and it just didn't seem to kick in. But when I drink it with water, I noticed that I can feel it work faster. So anytime I take
Oh,
it, for anybody who's using the Elevate, if you're not drinking water with it, try drinking water with it and see how it activates
wow.
much quicker for you.
Wow. This is so powerful because like I said, I know that there are people who want you to be sad. You know, why you and not only do they want you to be sad, but they probably don't even understand how you could even have the presence of mind to be building a business, cuz they would rather see you being depressed and sad and with this expectation of what you're supposed to be acting like. So, how did you still have the presence of mind? Because I remember Sally being on Power Hour the next morning and we were like, wait, what? Wait a minute. So, two questions. How did you guys have the presence of mind to even still want to build business, or to even, because for Tara, she lost her son in June 23rd, started the business with us in September. How did you have the presence of mind to do that? And also, what are some of the things that you did through this holiday season to help you to cope with the sadness that may have tried to sneak up?
I told Satan at the funeral. Well, I got on the microphone. I was like, Satan, I'm gonna take your head off. And so I had already, I didn't know, but I had set a precedent right there that I'm gonna be strong through this. And then I do have a lot of family members that decided that, okay, if Tara's gonna be strong and Tara's gonna speak the word and Tara's gonna stay up, they backed me up. So I had a lot of people that was like, shoot, she want to be strong, let her be strong. We're gonna just be strong with her. And through these holidays, I had his birthday December the 20th, and I cried, but I was able to push through. And then Christmas was, December 25th when we went to the beach. We tried to do something different, which was awesome, and it did work. And then New Year's is his favorite day because he likes to shoot fireworks. New Year's and the 4th of July. I ain't shooting no fireworks, but yeah, it's his favorite thing to do. I have not found solace in doing things that he liked to do yet. I'm not there, but um I just said it in my mind. I got it in my mind that I'm gonna make it and I'm gonna keep going. And I'm not even talking down on nobody who has decided to stop. But today we're trying to help you to push forward. That's why Mrs. Nina wanted us to even get on here and do this. She was like, we can help these people move forward. Let's and we are a people. We are people who have lost loved ones. And so if there is a way for you to push forward and you need to see somebody who's pushing forward, we want to tell you, Sally is pushing forward. I'm pushing forward. And I didn't know she lost babies. She's pushing forward. You cannot go through having a miscarriage and not have to get your mind right. So I know that whoever's in those comments and whoever will see this live later, you have a chance to push forward. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but we have something to help you. And if you will stand firm that you want to push forward, it's going to work.
We have Tangelee Lewis on our team. Her son, she lost her son to gun violence in Philadelphia. And I'm just so grateful that I'm watching the products bring her back. She was in a very dark place. She's on here right now. Her family kept her close this holiday. Good stuff. But I am watching the products bring her back. And the crazy thing is, I wouldn't like leave her alone. I wouldn't let her go. Just let her go. And even though I wasn't really concerned about her building the business, so to speak, I reached out to her because I knew that the products would help. Like I knew that if she would just take the nootropics every day, if she would take that Elevate, I knew that she would begin to feel better. You know what I mean? Because that was such a violent way to lose your child, to gun violence right in front of their home in Philadelphia. And then I want to say, like, at the funeral, one of his friends came home for the funeral and one of his friends was murdered. Like the day after the funeral, or something like that. Like it was a lot. It was a lot around that whole situation. And you two don't even realize how much you have in common, where your son's birthday are days apart. Right, which is super crazy that the both of you, your son is December 20th, and I believe Jalen's was 22nd, or the 21st. And just to see that there's so many similarities to your story. But I'm really, really, really grateful that your stories are so powerful, and that you've allowed you guys are like rising above it. And the days that you need to say, hey, today, and I never even see you guys have a full day. You just kind of acknowledge that I'm having a moment. And then I see that the moment kind of passes, because Sally might post something in the morning. Like, I always know when she's having a moment, but then later that afternoon, Sally's back. Like, she's back to like, hey, and it's usually probably because the elevator's kicked in, right? Because the elevator's kicked in. But Sally, when it comes to business, how did you have the presence of mind to still want to do business, even though you were dealing with such trauma?
I don't even know. I guess because it's like when it's like it was really a distraction, seriously, because I tell people I became a couch potato, and I watch everything on Netflix. I watch everything on Hulu. I watch everything on Amazon Prime. I was just sitting in the living room because, like, y'all see me sitting, I'm at my desk. It took me 5 months maybe to come back and sit at my desk, because my desk is right in front of his room. And when I used to stay up late at night, he used to be in his room playing the game, and I'm making reels, and he coming out his room like, Mom, what are you doing? I got to make my reels before I go to sleep. What do you mean? So it took a minute, but while I was being a couch potato, I was still over there send 25 messages. Okay, let me send my 25 messages, because it was helping me not be sad. It's like it was distracting me. Like that's how, like I had no goals for 2023. None. I came in, I was like, why? What I need a goal for? He was my goal. I think I told Miss Marguerite, I was like, my why gone. Like he was my biggest why. Like that was my only child. That not only my oldest. He was our oldest son, and he was my firstborn. So I'm like that. Like he was my why. So I don't got no goals. I'm just going with the flow. What y'all want me to do? Sell the juice? Okay. What we got? Okay, I'm gonna talk about it. Whatever you reels, okay, I'm gonna do it. But it was like I was just functioning. I think it wasn't until the holidays that I really was like, okay, Sally, you don't went this whole year just doing something, just doing something. Like Thanksgiving, I had a little moment during Thanksgiving because everybody came to our house, and I know a lot of my family don't want to come to my house because it happened at our home. And like we keep his room locked. His room got a lock on it, but I know that they don't want to come. So I did have a moment there, but the holidays, it wasn't bad for me because I even had to go live and talk about it because I saw somebody put a post up. Please pray for the people during the holiday because it's going to be bad for them. And I sat there and I was like, but why? Why it got to be bad because we lost somebody? And I'm like, I know his birthday coming up, Christmas, the anniversary of his death come up. Why it got to be bad for me? So I rebuked that in the name of Jesus when I saw that post. And then I went live about it to tell people that they don't have to be sad. You're going to have your moments, but you ain't got to stay stuck in it and be sad. And that's how I look at things. Like I also was intentional about reading the word. So I wake up every morning and I get on the Bible app and I said, I'm going to read the Bible in 365 days. And as I learn more about the Bible, it has strengthened me in how I move forward with my business. So, like I say, it's God in the elevator. I can't give it no other way because I'm going to speak. I'm going to speak what I want. I don't want to have a bad holiday.
Right.
I want my business to flourish. So I'm going to speak it because like what else is there to do? I'm not talking bad because somebody else choose to do that. I'm just saying for me, I got to speak it as what I want because I got little ones sitting here looking at me because my daughter, she see me cry. Mom, you being a crybaby. Because she understands but don't understand. And the 3-year-old, he just don't care. He flipping and jumping and doing whatever he want to do. And I'm crying, but he ain't paying me no attention that I'm crying when I'm having these moments. But when it come time to go to the store, Ma, can I get this for Christmas? They don't care about me crying. I need to work the business. So it's like, I can't stop. Because what I'm going to do? I sure ain't get no job. Like, God ain't tell me to do that.
I always be like, and do what? Right. Well, like, okay, this might be hard, but I ain't going to no job.
Right, I ain't going to no job. I got all these degrees. But I ain't going to get no job. Network marketing is $184,000 worth of student loan. Network marketing is going to pay that off.
Amen.
Period.
I did hair before this. So I've been a hairstylist for a long time. And then I got into network marketing. I could never go back to nothing else. Network marketing, I don't know why, but I've tried to build businesses and they take so much money. And the thing about network marketing, it don't take as much money. It's like you get a business that, I mean, they used to say a business in a box. It's
You do.
literally right there. You can pre-sale everything if you don't have the money to buy. Um, and if they're looking for something to do, you're looking for something to keep busy. Drink to
Just right.
drink.
Healthy
Mhm.
distraction. A healthy,
Healthy
if
distraction.
nothing more, even if a person isn't really ready to build the business per se,
Yeah.
the community aspect,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
Being on the trainings and what you get
Yeah.
from the trainings, because we're giving quality, like we're helping you to really build your mind, right? To keep your mind right and sharpen your skill sets and things like that. You guys, stuff that you would pay thousands and thousands of dollars for, we give away for free. We give it away for free. And so, along with the Elevate, I don't want anybody to forget that we do have our CBD caramels. Now you can only get these from a rep right now because they are not in the back office right now. But these CBD caramels, I know I got tons of them because I made sure I stocked up while we did have them in the back office. But these have no THC. You will not fail a drug test or anything like that. But these also help if you feel like maybe Elevate is not enough for you. Get with one of us. Even if those ladies don't have them, they'll reach out to me, right? So that you can get yourself some CBD caramels, because these CBD caramels will also help if you can't sleep. We got the white capsule for that, right? So there's a 3 capsule system, and we actually have the white capsule, the purple capsule, and the green capsule in here. It's a 3-day, so there's 9 capsules in here. But I suggest you get the month supply. Don't try to go for this 3-day pack. Get the month supply, right, of all the capsules. Or like I said, you can go with the CBD caramels. These will help, and so will our CBD, right? So we have some that's full spectrum with THC, and then we have the other that I don't want to get up again, but I've got the other over here as well. That's broad spectrum with no CBD. We've got something a little stronger, right? Our Delta 9. If you feel like you need something a little stronger, you're having trouble sleeping, don't eat a full one, right? The gummies, you probably need to cut that thing in 4. Try it out with a small piece first, but and that is all natural as well. So we've got different levels of things to help you utilize all natural methods to help you cope with your anxieties and the D word and the sadness and the mood swings and all of that. We've got a solution for you. And so we right at the tip of us being here an hour. If you want to just go ahead, ladies, and just give your last closing remarks, what would you say to someone who may be looking for a healthy distraction, or they don't even know that they need a healthy distraction? Would you guys both just one at a time, of course, unmute yourself and just give someone that last word that might help them make a decision to have a healthy distraction, or even get in your communities? I know both of you ladies have a community page, right? You can let everybody know how they can follow you on social media, because I know that you ladies both are building a community page where you're inviting other women who might be dealing with what you're dealing with as well. So go ahead.
My last words would be that this is, it's kind of like a no-brainer. If you're dealing with anything like this, if you're dealing with anything that needs help with it, when it comes to calmness and anxiety, when it comes to, just wanting to have some more focus, because we all need more focus. Sometimes I run around here like I got ADHD, and I know I ain't been clinically diagnosed, but I feel like, did I just clean the kitchen, the living room, and upstairs, and then ain't nothing really done? But I mean, it's all coming together. When I take the Elevate, everything comes together. So if I had to speak to anybody on here, if you said that we helped you tonight, or if you said that you are dealing with some of these things, we would invite you in to come to one of our communities to even purchase the Elevate from us. And if you purchase the Elevate, we're giving away a free pack of tea. The accountability group, we have a 30-day challenge going on where you can get with some like-minded people and get to find somebody that maybe you can connect with and might have some of the same similarities that you have, something in common. We have like a family type of thing going on. We have if you wake up early in the morning, we have 6 o'clock power hour. So depending on what it is that you need, we got it. We have it. So I just, from the bottom of my heart, deeply, I don't know what else to tell you. I'm not trying to sell you anything. If you buy it, you buy it. If you don't, you don't. We prefer that you do. It's the best thing to help you.
Good stuff. Thank you so much. What you got for us, Sally?
The community. Because I know a lot of people out there, they might feel like they're alone going through what they're going through. And even though my business partners may not have gone through what I've gone through, they still knew the word to speak into me. They still like showing up for personal development, like book club and our trainings really help mentally help me to be able to function as well. And network marketing is a personal development with a compensation plan. So if you can grow and make money at the same time, and in the midst of that, you got a community of people that's going to love on you, that's going to help support you. They're going to lift you up. They're going to push you, and they want the best for you. This is it. And on top of that, we got the best products out there, all natural.
The best, including the viral candy. The viral candy cleanse. Well, listen, ladies, it's been real.
Yes.
I'm really grateful that you said yes. We talked earlier today, and I just know that you both are going to help to lead people, just you're going to be able to help them see the light again. You both are living examples of what God's grace and mercy and his covering and his healing can do. You're examples of what forgiveness looks like, and live almighty rock, God the Father, who is keeping you through this time. Even those of us that have never had the kind of trauma that you two have experienced are strengthened by your story. So thank you so much for being here. I'm certain that you guys can go follow Sally, follow Tara on social media, you guys, so that you can watch their story, because this is not some fake thing here. They literally are living the example of what it could look like grieving graciously, right? That you can have God's grace on your life and that you don't have to fall apart. And even if you have, guess what? You can get back up again, right? You can get back up again, dust yourself off and live, because they would obviously, I'm 100% certain that if you were to have a phone call to them in heaven, that they would be fussing at you right now for sitting around worried about them, right? And they would say that they give you permission to take up your bed and walk, right? Be happy, be whole, be healthy. We love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Good night, and God bless you all.